All righty. Are we good, Jake? Okay.
Live now. Just hang on one sec.
Oh, it says it's already streaming.
All right, looks good. We're live.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I would like to call the school committee meeting of June 18th to order at 6:30. Because we are virtual today, if we could do a roll call vote indicating you're here.
Becky, since this is your first one, we go alphabetical order by last name.
Becky DeMarco.
Thank you.
I wasn't sure who else is here, but Julia Lagerholm present.
Thank you, Julia and Beth Bergstrom present. I would like to read the Douglas Public Schools mission statement. The Douglas Public Schools offers a diverse learning experiences that meet academic, social, physical, and emotional needs of all students. We provide safe, supportive, and challenging learning environments in which students may achieve academic success and personal growth. Decisions are made in the best interest of students. We will forego the Pledge of Allegiance today because we are virtual. It does not look like we have any student representatives here today. So we will go forward from that. Is anybody here for public comment? Doesn't look like that either. So old business,
We do not have any.
new business, superintendent's report.
All right. Just quickly, I presented my goals back in April, and one of my goals was my student learning goal around growth percentage for students. And the committee asked me to come back to present our end of the year data. At that time, I had data from January. But here is our end of the year data. So the goal says that by June 2025, all students will have a student growth percentage between 35 and 65% as defined by STAR in ELA and math. So before you, you have a list of our STAR scores. As an overall average, as a district, we were at 53% in ELA and 53% also in math. In breaking it down by school, just quickly, you can see that in the primary, we were at 68 and 57% in ELA, and they didn't do it in math for kindergarten. It's not available, and 65% student growth percentage in math, which puts us right on the upper end of typical growth, which is great for the primary school. At the elementary school, we see the numbers averaging 51, 51, 42, 52 in ELA. And in math, again, a little bit lower, 43, 46, 51, and 44%, which puts us on that lower end of typical growth, but still experiencing that typical growth that's expected for students over the course of the year. Mr. Haynes is in the process of looking at that data. Again, they gave this test the end of May, beginning of June. He really hasn't had a whole lot of time to dive into it with all the end of the year activities. Middle school did awesome. Sixth grade math ELA was 73%, seventh grade 64, and eighth grade 55. And then in math, 81, 69, and 61, which again puts us at that upper end of student growth, of typical growth. And then our high school kiddos didn't do as great as we had hoped. For ELA, it was 39, 42, 52, and 43, again in that lower end of typical growth. And then for math, it was 44, 47, 53, and 36%. As Mr. Ringette pointed out when he did his presentation, this was our first year doing this assessment for high school students, and figuring out how to motivate them to take an assessment that they know doesn't count has been a challenge of trying to incentivize it. But again, even with that, we can see that we still made typical growth, albeit on the lower end in some instances in grade levels. So that is my student learning goal. Everything else I covered in the April meeting, but I just wanted to present that to the committee. I think the chair is going to have the rest of the committee look at this and then either present out at our July or August school committee meeting. So happy to answer any questions on that goal. All right. Next on the report are some special education updates. I'm going to turn it over right now to Sarah and to Kate. When they came the last time they present, or maybe it was 2 meetings ago, they presented on some programmatic changes and updates that they did for staff meetings. They were able to go back to the early June staff meetings and get some follow-up, and the committee had asked for them to come back just to get some feedback from them about staff concerns, questions. So I will turn it over to Sarah and to Kate for a brief presentation and then questions at the end.
Sure. Thanks, Paul. So we had shared a graphic that kind of summarized and wrapped up all the information from our presentation. So I'm going to go over a little bit and then I'm going to toss the baton over to Kate. So essentially, we met to every staff meeting for the beginning of June and presented the same PowerPoint slideshow that you guys saw at the school committee meeting that we presented on a couple weeks ago. So it was the first Monday or Wednesday in June, and we showed it to staff all in the same manner. It was the Kate and Sarah show. We literally traveled from every building back to back to back, and just tried to make sure everybody got the same information. Most respondents said they had no further questions and felt that the presentation was clear. We didn't have a lot of questions in the moment, but we did give them a Google form to fill out and kind of follow up anonymously with information, asking us questions and just for us to get feedback. Some staff had raised concerns about staffing levels, clarity on roles, how like in the moment needs and specific programs might be managed. Things that our staff found to be the most helpful about the presentation were the clarification and renaming of the programs, the defined descriptions and parameters of each program, and then understanding the tiers and the service breakdown. So we had really just tried to explain that by having the programs really be named what they are, it's a lot easier for people to understand. And in reviewing the feedback that we got from staff, they all kind of felt the same way too, that it's a lot easier to understand like what the purpose of the program is when it's kind of just named that way. So that was really what the feedback was from staff. So I'll let Kate kind of handle the rest of it from here.
And you can see too, we kind of wanted to grasp an understanding, and thank you, Sarah, of just kind of what staff took away and how much they understood what we were saying. So you can see kind of by the percentages, less than half felt very confident, more than half felt somewhat confident, and there was a 3% that were a little unsure. That was really important to us so that we could gauge how we were presenting the information that was coming out. There were some top needs identified, which was just consistent staffing and coverage, having access to the program definitions and slides, improved communication and collaboration, which we know is consistent, that we are hearing, and hope that by having these program descriptions, that is the start of how we can help with that consistent communication. Clear role definitions and responsibilities, and then ongoing training for the inclusion paras, the ABAs. And so part of that is with the new DESPA contract, the paras will be going through training at the start of the school year. So we can address some of that there, having clearer roles and responsibilities, looking to bridge some of that with the communication as well, but going over that in our para trainings, going over that at the beginning of the year in the trainings with the special education staff, just so everyone kind of understands what their roles are. And then the new descriptions that we went over will be available on the website. They were also shared with staff, making sure that, again, it's accessible. People know where it's accessible, and it's accessible in many ways. So that is our feedback on how it went with presenting to the staff.
Does anybody on the committee have any questions?
Right.
No questions, but this is like really easy to understand. So I really appreciate you breaking it down. So all of our viewers, but really me, can understand in what a streamlined way of going about it. So thank you for this. And I'm sure the staff appreciate it as well.
Thank you.
Becky, did you have any questions or are you all set?
Nope, I'm all set. Thanks so much, Kate.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for your work and Dr. Rosenthal for, your support in letting it happen. I think, and I'm sure you both know this, like our data is only as good as what we do with it. So I'm sure that there's wheels turning right now of what are we going to do next year? Like, how are we going to support this? How are we going to help? Kate, I know that I can probably speak for the rest of the team when I say we're really excited to see what your 100-day goal plan is, especially because you've been here. You've known what's, kind of some of the strengths and areas for growth in our district, and having time with Dr. Rosenthal and where you and Sarah are, have a good working relationship. And then you're going to be bringing another coordinator into the
Mhm.
fold as well, and kind of what that's going to look like. So I'm really interested to see you guys come back and hear what next year is going to look like.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it. So thank you very much.
We are, yes, thank you.
Next, one of the things that was asked, and we knew this was an issue when Dr. Rosenthal took over, was compliance. And one of the big charges when Dr. Rosenthal started and we interviewed was when people asked, what do you need me to do? And I said, compliance, compliance, compliance. Make sure meetings are happening, paperwork's going out, parents are getting information. And one of the questions was, where are we with compliance in terms of meetings and everything for the 24-25 school year? So today is Greg's last school committee meeting. He is transitioning, as we know, to a new role starting July 1. Just wanted to publicly take this opportunity to thank him for what he's done for the district and his years of service with us. And for his last meeting, he can end where he started, which is talking about compliance.
Thank you, Dr. Vera. Before I jump into that, there is a couple of things I want to say some thank yous. First, to school committee, your support has been instrumental. I cannot thank you enough. You truly do embody all means all for all of our students, and decisions that are being made at your level, they are being made for all of our students. So I want to say thank you there. I also want to say thank you to Dr. Vera. Dr. Vera has been a great mentor for me this year and last year. Learned a lot from him about district leadership. It's been wonderful working with him. Assistant Superintendent Keegan has been absolutely amazing to work with for the financial component to this. She's been every step of the way working with me. It's been amazing. So I want to thank her. And I want to thank the principals. They're not here tonight, but Principal Ringette, Principal O'Brien, Principal Haynes, and Principal Sosha. It's a great team district-wide. Douglas is really lucky to have such great building administration. And with the coordinators and Director Buck coming in, Coordinator Cozy, you're in great hands. They're going to be excellent. I'm looking forward to all the things that they're going to be able to do with Carrie Kroback, who is our assistant, who's absolutely amazing. You have a great department, and I think that you're really going to flourish in the next couple of years. And again, just to all the staff of Douglas, you really have some dedicated staff members that really care about students, from teachers to paras to ABAs to lunch duty people to the custodians. Everyone cares about the students. So just want to say thank you to everyone from Douglas. And to the compliance piece, the Seaside review did a deep dive. It went 5 years, and we went through 5 years of records, and there's been some opportunities for growth. I'd like to say that maybe we've missed some meetings. Maybe there's been some staffing concerns that caused meetings not to happen. When I first came in, we were behind the 8 ball a little bit because valuations weren't occurring or annual meetings weren't occurring. That was just a major focus for the department. So we did a deep dive into that. We added staff to the department to help with compliance, which has been very helpful. And we've still faced some challenges this year. Unfortunately, one of our coordinators had left at the beginning of the year, and we were unable to fill the position. So we assumed a lot of the role of that person, and just through the toughness of the department, we were able to hold every meeting that was possibly going to happen, because yes, it's great for kids, but we're also under review from the state. So we're under the microscope. So it occurred. The one component that happened, and we're still talking with the state about, was an evaluation, a couple of evaluations that happened outside of the timeline. We're talking 3-4 days tops in each of these. In both cases, we had documentation of communicating with the parents, and with parent permission it happened. When the state came out, we're looking at how are we documenting it within our files. We do written communication with it, but what we're looking to do is more about a meeting summary and documenting there. So that's really the only component left of the special education tier focus monitoring, or the Department of Ed audit of our files. We had an update that I had to send them Monday, sorry, which I did. And there's one more that's going to occur, I believe, in July or August. I forget off the top of my head, because we have to be in compliance within 1 year. August is our 1-year date. We should be absolutely in compliance at that point. We did some additional training, and we just talked about documentation, but I have full faith that the department will be in full compliance for special education when it comes to the 1-year timeline.
Thank you, Dr. Rosenthal.
Thank you.
Questions from the committee?
Dr. Rosenthal, will those documents, like your action plan, any of that stuff, is that going to be posted on the website for the public to see? Your
So-
compliance reports? I know some districts do and some districts don't, so I was just wondering.
So all of the progress reports and the corrective action plan, the CAP at the beginning of the year, they're all public documentation. So we can definitely post it. It's accessible. It's Department of Ed. I know they keep it. And one of the things that we were talking with Department of Ed at the beginning of the year is when we're writing our progress reports, they said, well, make sure you don't have any capitalization errors, grammar errors, because this is public documentation. Anyone can request it. So we can make it public, absolutely, on the website.
That's fine.
Thank you so much. And thank you for what you did for the district while you were here. We appreciate it.
And best of luck with everything going forward. It's been a pleasure to get to know you over the last year. And whatever your next journey looks like, I hope it's just the best. So good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that is it for my report tonight for our last school committee meeting for the 24-25 school year.
That's wonderful. So moving on to the accounts payable. Julia. Or Becky.
Yes, I will be happy to do it because it looks like Heather signed them, but let me just pull it up here 1 second. I'm shuffling through the papers.
Thank you. And just quick little moment of this is Courtney's last time hearing her payables at Douglas Public Schools.
We still have one in July.
Oh, we're gonna keep her for one more. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have to close the books and reconcile and get everything all squared away.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Courtney.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then I won't make this one all jazzed up. I will keep it plain. So I'm going to start with what everyone just popped up on my screen. It is warrant 47 SCHL 25 with a date of May 23rd, 2025. This was signed by Heather, but she did not tell us of any concerns or irregularities. It was one batch number in the amount of $8,092.74. This one I signed. So warrant number 45 SCH 25 and 45 SCHL 25 with the dates May 8th and May 9th, 2025. There was a grand total of 12 batches with an amount of $151,455.39. Everything looked terrific. No issues. Oh, Becky, this one's you. Take it away.
All right, which one are we on?
The one with your name on it.
Hold on.
It has 14 batches in the amount of $251,000.
Oh, there's two. There's two with your name on it, Becky.
Hold on. I don't even see this. I apologize. I wasn't prepared to present.
I mean,
It's okay. It's okay. All good.
Can one of you tell me what the title of, is it in the first email Lauren sent or the second?
Oh, I don't know.
the first.
First.
First, and
And they're gonna be labeled warrants.
yeah,
It said warrant 45 SCH 25, 45 SCHL 25 on 5/8/25.
okay.
But those were the
five-
other ones. Yeah.
And
Sure.
5/9.
Okay, and walk me through this. What would you like me to,
So there was a total of 12 batches and a total dollar amount of
What do you do?
$151,455.39?
Yep, and you have to say the warrant numbers and the warrant date.
Oh,
Okay,
that's,
the warrant numbers, 45SCH25 and 45SCHL25, dates 5/8/25 and 5/9/25.
and you had no concerns or
Julie,
irregularities.
hold
No,
on.
no.
We already did that one.
yeah, we already did that one. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So perfect practice one. So
Perfect.
scroll through to the one that says Rebecca at the bottom. It'll say warrant signed by Rebecca DeMarco.
Okay. Let me find this. Thank you. Is it in the same document though?
Just scroll two forward.
Different document.
Yep.
Okay. Ah, there we go. Okay. Warrant 49 SCH25 and 49 SCHL25 on warrant dates 6/5/25 and 6/6/25. Warrant total amount is $61,240.43. Approved by me.
10 batches, no irregularities.
10 batches, no irregularities. Well, I can't even talk tonight. All right. And the next one, let me just make sure that this is indeed by me. It is warrant 48 SCH25, warrant date 5/29/2025. Total of 14 batches. Is that correct, everybody? Yep. Okay. And the total amount of $251,383.34. All good, no irregularities.
Perfect.
Sorry, it took me a minute. I was not
All
like
right, you did it.
It's
Here.
all
No
good. It's
problem.
all good. It's your first time reporting them and it's virtual, so that makes it doubly challenging. So you have passed. Thank you so much. Moving on to the consent agenda. We have our meeting minute notes for June 4th.
I do have one amendment.
Go ahead, Courtney.
Um,
What's your
under-
amendment?
Under superintendent's report, in the beginning, it says, Executive Director of MASBO, Margaret Driscoll. It should say, instead of along with, it should say who is also a school committee member from Melrose.
Perfect. We can certainly make that amendment. Anybody else have anyone's looking at it? If not, I would be looking for a motion to approve the meeting minute notes as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve the June 4th, 2025 school committee meeting minutes as amended.
seconded by Becky.
Motion made by Julia, seconded by Becky. Roll call vote, please. Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Aye. Nobody else.
Oh, yeah, Julia Lagerholm, aye.
All right, thank you so much. Meeting minutes are approved. Next
Right.
up is the bullying prevention plan.
All right, so Dr. Rosenthal has come a couple times, to finalize the bully plan. There was one question in which we had to go back to legal. He worked back and forth with our attorney. At the previous meeting, you had approved, I think it was the 10 or 11, 12 other proposed changes. And that leaves us with page 10, paragraph 1. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Rosenthal.
Thank you. I'm gonna be off screen, so hold on one second. So page 10, paragraph 1, students who believe that they are a target of bullying, observed an act of bullying, or who have reasonable grounds to believe that these behaviors are taking place are, and previously it was obligated. We went back and forth with some language at the last couple of meetings, just right or responsibility. So there was a bunch of questions with that. And so Michael Joyce, our attorney, came up with this language and recommends saying strongly encouraged to immediately report incidents to a member of the school staff. So a lot of the language that we were back and forth with kind of meant the same thing. And so when I talked to him about where the school committee was and where the bullying committee was, this is the language that he kind of recommended. And it basically doesn't put an onus on someone that if they don't do it, they're going to be punished. We know you can't be punished for it. That's part of the policy. However, as a member of the community, you should have some component to it where you're going to support others. And I think that's where really the language kind of supports this, where it's strongly encouraged. From his recommendation, it kind of meets both sides, where the school committee is and where the bullying policy committee was when we were talking about it. So that's the recommendation from our attorney, and just in adding that language into that last component of the bullying policy.
Does anybody have any questions on that?
No, I think it makes sense to me now. It was, as we discussed before, there was the whole obligated side of things. We were like, it just didn't sit right, especially with the following line, like the target shall, however, not be subject to discipline for failing to report. So it's like, well, what is it? So I think this strongly encouraged, it just makes more sense overall. So thank you.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate the time that went into going back and forth. I think, that's why we make a better team when we do decisions together, because I think all of it, we all read that multiple times, right? And we found that in different ways. So thank you for that. So I would be looking for a motion to approve the changed language for the bullying prevention plan.
Motion to approve.
Seconded by Julia.
Roll call vote. Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Becky DeMarco, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. And moving on to the Assistant Superintendent of Business and Operations report.
Okay, so this evening I have for you some transfers and reclasses. We will start with the first one. I have 2 transfers. And what this is, if you'll recall, with special education in FY25, we had quite an increase in transportation and tuition. And from the prior year, when the budget was being prepared for special ed tuitions, there was $120,304 in the 9,300 the private school tuition private school, sorry, account in the general fund. And throughout the year, they were looking to make that placement. And even throughout the year, at one point in the middle of the year, even though we had gone through half the year, the placement had been made, but then for a time we thought it was going to be double, so we left the money there still. And as of the end of the year, we did not expend any of those funds. So what I'm doing here is, transferring the funds. Actually, I should have gone over the reclass first. Okay. So I'm transferring the funds from the elementary school to the high school because I'm also reclassing, you'll see afterwards, some tuitions in the same amount from circuit breaker into the general fund to have more funds in circuit breaker. We cannot have, so that we won't be next to zero, number one, and number two, we have quite a huge tuition that's going to be hitting us. It's not hitting us in FY26 because the district that the student moved from is covering it for FY26, but in 27 it is going to hit the district. So, you know, I'm just doing the best I can with moving that, and it made sense. Now, normally, you know, at the end of the year, I do reclasses from school choice into the general fund for anything that's not used. But in this case, we want to make sure that we set ourselves up better with regard to dealing with the special education aspect of it. And those monies were there for special education besides, you know, in the general fund. So had we realized throughout the year, what I would have done anyway is utilize those funds and done the same transfer mid-year for the same exact purpose. So I'm doing the same thing I would have done, you know, anyway. And the second one is just one requested for $13, you know, requested from the high school, just to cover something that they ordered, that they did a purchase order for, I should say, at year end. So does anyone have any questions on that? Okay,
think we're
thank you.
good. So we would be looking for a motion. And Courtney, if you could help us out and just tell us what it is, and then we can so move it, that would be wonderful.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
great. Thank you.
So in other words, if somebody would like to make a motion to approve FY 2025 transfers number 9, school committee meeting June 18th, 2025.
So moved.
Seconded.
All right, motion made by Julia, seconded by Becky. All those in favor?
Aye.
Julia,
Aye.
Yep, Julie Lagerholm, aye.
Becky,
Anyone
aye.
opposed? Anyone abstained? We're good. All right, next
Okay,
up,
thank
Ms.
you so
Courtney.
much. Okay, now is the one that's in reverse order. So the next one is FY 2025 reclassification number 9. So you can see here, I am moving tuitions from the circuit breaker into the 140 account, because that's where I needed to put it for a particular tuition that I chose to come to that dollar amount. So that's why we needed to do the transfer from the elementary to the high school. So does anyone have any questions on this one? Okay, thank you. So if anybody would like to move,
All by myself. You can help me out?
so if anyone would like to move to approve the FY 2025 reclassifications number 9, school dated school committee meeting June 18th, 2025.
So moved.
No, you call me.
Motion made by Becky, seconded by,
Julia,
all those in favor? Aye.
Becky DeMarco, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Beth Bergstrom, aye.
Okay, thank you so much. And the last one I have is a small reclassification. It's FY 2025 reclassifications number 10, and that's just moving $110 from the FY 25 teacher quality grant stipends to the FY 24 teacher quality grant stipends to use up some funds that were available to essentially get that closed out.
Awesome.
Your BACB number, and then.
Anyone want to make that motion? Julia's doing it. She's just muted.
Seconded by Becky.
Okay, I'm here. I'll make the motion to approve the fiscal year 2025 reclassifications number 10, as Courtney explained.
Beautiful. And then Becky, I already heard her jump in second before you even did it. It's so
Oh.
effective today. So,
She did sign
well,
language.
she did. No, it's all good. We it's telepathic. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Becky DeMarco, aye.
Beth Bergstrom, aye. All right.
Hey, thank you so much. And Beth, if you, I know Heather's not here this evening, but if you are around Friday to come in, because we have Zoom, So
Yeah.
if you don't mind, if you are around, if not, Monday would be fine, but if you are, they're right out there on the counter.
It depends on the weather, but most likely
I
I
get
will
it.
be.
Everything these days does. Or Monday is fine, but just remember that we do close at 3 o'clock though, because it's summer hours. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have the FY 26, basically the 2025-26 school year school lunch fees. And we have Food Service Director Allison O'Rourke here this evening to present.
Hi, everyone. So, student school lunch and breakfast is free for the 25-26 school year. This means that the state is covering the first lunch and breakfast pursuant to USDA regulations. Additionally, Douglas is eligible to participate in Community Eligibility Provision, CEP, for the high school only. So that's continuing for the upcoming 25-26 school year. The middle school, elementary school, and primary school did not qualify. The high school being eligible for CEP allows the school to serve free meals to all students without having to collect free and reduced lunch applications. The other 3 schools still need to send out and collect free and reduced applications. The CEP provision requires an eligible school to serve universal free school lunch and breakfast. There are many districts in the state that are eligible for CEP for the first time due to the new criteria guidelines that were recently released. Second, lunches and breakfast are not free and must be charged a fee. So this is a continuation from last year. The high school was CEP for the first time last year. The other 3 schools were not. So basically nothing's changing. We're going to continue with the same process going into the upcoming school year. Furthermore, we are recommending no increase to the current breakfast and lunch fees. During the 24-25 school year, we saw an increase in participation for both breakfast and lunch from both the free lunch aspect of the program as well as the high school being CEP approved. Over the last few years, we have seen a healthy fund balance in the school lunch revolving fund that has allowed the food service program to absorb the increases in food and supply costs, as well as being able to purchase much needed equipment. We foresee this continuing if the current school lunch funding remains going forward. So basically no changes. Meals are universally free, covered by the state. And then the CEP just adds that extra layer of it also being free. However, we do not need to send out free and reduced lunch applications at the high school only. So overall, if the school committee is in agreement, the following motion is recommended for approval. We're asking to move to approve the following school lunch fees for the upcoming school year. Douglas High School, $3.75 for lunch. Middle School, $3.75. Douglas Elementary School, $3.50. Douglas Primary School, $3.50. And then student breakfast district-wide, $2.25. And the adult meals, $4.75, not including meal tax. So this is for students who are purchasing a second meal only. That's what they will be charged.
Thank you, Allison. Does anybody on the committee have any questions?
No question from me, but more of remarks, which is again surprising, I know. I think it's great that I think we all agree how great the universal free lunch program is, and I hope that it becomes a forever tradition here in the Commonwealth. But most especially now that this just came out the other day that 1 in 3 families, I think 3 families, so 33-ish% of families struggle putting food on their table and don't have enough food to eat. And part of me started to panic, in my own crazy mind, that I'm like, oh my God, what if we don't have this universal free lunch? And so just seeing it here and knowing that it's definitely happening again is something that is really, really important for our students and for our families here in Douglas. So this is so great. And thank you to Allison for everything that you're doing for the food program. You know, had a moment this past weekend. We made like walking tacos, and my niece loves them, and my son was like, oh, we have them at our school. And she's from a neighboring district, and she was very jealous. So thank you so much.
Thank you for including that. I love to hear that, and I hope that she gets it at her school.
They got to. She's better have to write a comment card or something.
Totally.
That's awesome. Thank you. So if we don't have any other questions, and Allison, thank you, because none of this is easy. This is a lot of work. And you do it with, grace and a smile and, keeping our kids fed. Our kids can't learn if they don't have the basic things, and the basic things are food, shelter.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
know what I mean? So like this is so important for all of our kids. And as a mom with a high schooler, my son looks at me and goes, Mom, I'm just going for breakfast. Don't even just see ya. And it makes my morning 8,000 times easier. So thank you.
It does. Absolutely. Thank you.
But if we don't have any more questions, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the fees for next year for school lunches.
I'll make that motion to approve the school lunch fees as outlined by Allison a few minutes ago.
Okay. and
Motion made by Julia, second by Becky. Perfect. All those in favor?
Becky DeMarco, aye.
Julia Lagerholm, aye.
Beth Bergstrom, aye. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you, Allison.
Absolutely.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we have, Courtney has one more thing on our agenda so far.
Yep, so we have the FY 2026 affirmation of student activity fund accounts and to close an inactive account and establish a new account. So, as I read every year, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 71, Section 47 governs student activity funds along with the procedures and audit guidelines as promulgated by DESE. Student activity accounts must be established by vote of the school committee. Also, the auditors recommend reaffirming the existing student activity fund accounts each year as well. So that's why we do that each year. It's an audit recommendation. There is no financial impact. So we do have a high school newspaper student activity account that I thought was closed last year, but apparently it wasn't, but we do need to close that. And so just to let everyone know that the auditors will write up a district or a school for the student activity funds if you have an account that's been inactive for several years. Because it's supposed to be student activity accounts. So it's supposed to be activity, and it's not meant to just have money sitting there, for years and years and years and not do anything with it. So I am kind of, I guess, reaffirming that we're closing out the high school student activity fund account and looking to transfer the funds to the principal's account as of FY 2025, so we can have it closed out at the end of this year, not wait a whole other year. And as always, the funds can only be used for the benefit of the student body. Can't be used for staff or anything like that, but for student activities and benefit of the student body. And we're also looking to close the high school class of 2025 after July 1st when everything is all set, and to establish the new class of, I can't believe it, 2029 as a new high school student activity fund account. But that's basically what I'm asking to have done. And also behind the agenda item summary, I do have the listing that I do present. And I've had made notations on here because it was an existing account before as regarding closing the student newspaper at the high school to be closed as of June 30th. No, obviously if so voted and so approved by the school committee. So that's it. Does anyone have any questions?
If nobody has any questions, I'd be looking for a motion.
Does anyone have it, or did you want me to read it?
If you could read it, Courtney, that would be wonderful.
That'd be great. Yep, that'd be fine. Okay, move to close the DHS newspaper student activity account and transfer the balance of $400.82 to the principal's account as of June 30th, 2025. Funds are to be used for the benefit of the student body. also move to affirm the student activity accounts for the Douglas Middle School and Douglas High School student activity funds per the attached FY26 student activity accounts listing, and to close the DHS class of 2025 after July 1st, 2025, when all revenue and expenditures have been reconciled and closed out, and to add the class of 2029 as a new high school student activity account as of July 1st, 2025.
Motion to accept the reclassification, the closure, and the opening of accounts as stated by Courtney Keaton.
Motion made by Becky, seconded by? Motion made by Becky, seconded by Julia. All those in favor?
Becky, aye.
Julie Lagerholm, aye.
Beth Bergstrom, aye. Awesome. Do we
Okay.
have,
I just had one more thing I just wanted to
Sure.
mention. Just wanted to let you know, only because of what's going on, particularly with the increase in special education and all of that and funding. Today, the conference committee was voting for but it's a complete up or down for everything vote. Now, we won't have the results until later on. But for the FY25 out of district special education transportation reimbursement to increase from 44% to 75% of eligible. And that's of course beyond the threshold. And for FY26 to be 75% tuition and 75% for out of district special education transportation reimbursement. As you've seen on the spreadsheet that I do, the historical trends that I do, the transportation has been around 30%, 37% and 44%. I don't have it in front of me. So let's hope that this does go through, because this will help somewhat, not in any way immensely, especially looking prospectively towards FY27. So I hope that this does go through and holds. And of course, everything is always subject. I just want to remind everyone that even though they have a budget amount in the state budget when it comes to circuit breaker, and they have a percentage amount, they never know in advance what the amounts are going to be fully statewide. So it still goes with how much money they have. And that also comes into play with regard to whether or not what funding they have for extraordinary relief as well in a fiscal year. I just wanted to just bring that to your attention, only because I just really hope it goes through and it could make a quite a difference. And that's all I have this evening.
thank you so much, Courtney. That's important. Do we have any topics not anticipated?
We do not.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then I would be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Wonderful. Motion made by Julia, seconded by?
Becky DeMarco.
All those in favor?
Aye. Becky DeMarco.
Julie Lagerholm, aye.
Beth Bergstrom, aye. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for your time coming on Zoom as we're trying to transition into the summer. And I hope everybody has a great summer.
Have a great summer, everyone. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
have a great summer.